think we'll get there.
Tonight, the Prime Minister visits the Oval Office where the tensions have seemingly eased.
He's a world-class leader.
We're not saying not never, but we're just saying not now.
Plus, parking lots in the Oldies Village are spared from redevelopment as part of a free parking pilot project. And
it's our pinnacle event for high school age students across the province.
The Forest City prepares for student athletes attending next year's Special Olympics.
So I'd like to show you my medals. No, I got bronze in soccer.
CTV News with Lauren Stallone.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Canada's Prime Minister was welcomed to the White House today for high-level talks on trade and tariffs. This comes at a time when Donald Trump is threatening new tariffs. CTV's Mike LeCouture has more.
With a firm but friendly handshake, Prime Minister Mark Carney arrived at the White House for his working lunch with U.S. President Donald Trump.
We're going to be talking about trade. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things.
In a 32-minute Oval Office meeting, Trump called Carney a great man several times, adding he's confident they'd work through the issues preventing a deal on tariffs.
He's a world-class leader. He's a man that knows what he wants. And I'm not surprised to see that he won the election and won it substantially, and I would think he's more popular now. He's a good man. He does a great job, and he's a tough negotiator.
He's a great man, and you want to do a deal with Canada. Why aren't you?
Because I want to be a great man, too.
Trump says the two countries are in a natural business conflict because Canada and the U.S. want to make similar things on both sides of the border.
It's a tough situation because we want to make our cars here. At the same time, we want Canada to do well making cars. So we're working on formulas, and I think we'll get there.
Carney said the two countries are competing, not in conflict.
We are the largest foreign investor in the United States. $500 billion in the last 5 years alone, probably $8 trillion in the next 5 years if we get the agreement that we expect to get.
Following the meeting, the minister in charge of Canada-U.S. trade updated reporters on how it went.
It concluded with the President and the Prime Minister directing us, me and my colleagues, and the President, his cabinet secretaries who were there, Ambassador Greer, Secretary Lutnick, and others, to continue the conversation and to quickly land deals that will bring, we think, greater certainty in areas where the principal areas would be steel and aluminum and energy.
In a sign that work will be continuing, Dominic LeBlanc is staying in D.C. for the next 24 hours for more meetings. And this evening, Prime Minister Carney is having a working dinner with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Washington.
Good evening. We have some cloud cover and still a few light showers out there this evening. Chance for rainfall will drop off as we push past about 8 o'clock. Temperatures, though, are starting to cool, and we'll get into the single digits overnight with the passage of our cold front. Now, the winds are out of the north, and they'll continue out of the north as we head through the overnight, although they'll be fairly light. High pressure building in on its heels will bring back the sunshine heading into tomorrow, but temperatures, the coolest air of the season arrives. We'll talk about how low those temperatures are going to go. Clear conditions by midnight and the temperature 11 degrees. Stay with us. I'll take you through all your local forecast details, and do I have a gorgeous holiday weekend to share with you? I'll have that coming up in just a few minutes.
An Innisfil man is facing a long list of charges following several shooting incidents in London and across southern Ontario. 23-year-old Jean Isaiah Doman was arrested by York Regional Police last month after shots rang out in Vaughan. Police accused Doman of firing roughly 125 shots at homes in London, Brampton, and Vaughan in August and September. No injuries were reported in any of the incidents. Surveillance video shows a car pulling up to a home on Fox Ridge Crescent in northwest London on August 18th. Shortly after, 33 shots were fired. Police say the occupants of the home were not the intended targets. Doman remains in jail awaiting his next court date. All 7 shootings are under investigation. 2 pedestrians were sent to hospital after being struck by a car last night. The pair were on Warncliffe near the Ridgeway just before midnight when they were hit. Police say the vehicle involved in the crash remained on scene, and both people were taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The investigation is ongoing and has been assigned to the London Police Road Safety Section. 4 suspects remain in custody after police say they conducted a high-risk takedown in Hanover. Officers were called early Sunday morning after several armed men were seen in the backyard of a home. The suspects didn't gain entry and fled in a car. The driver failed to stop for police, and they had to box in the vehicle. The suspects were arrested at gunpoint. Police seized loaded weapons along with drugs and cash. London police have 1 suspect in custody and are looking for a second after a serious assault in the area of Shelbourne Street and Devron Crescent Friday night. Police say the victim was seriously hurt by 2 men with weapons. Officers arrested 1 suspect nearby, but the second fled in a silver Cadillac SUV with license plate DETL 324. He's described as Indigenous, approximately 25 years old, with a medium build, and was wearing a white t-shirt and black shorts. They say no one gets a free ride, but you'll soon be able to get free parking in London's Old East Village. A new pilot project means drivers can keep their change, and as CTV's Brian Bicknell tells us, a decision by city councillors will also save a pair of parking lots from being redeveloped.
Earlier this year, they were considered for redevelopment into housing. Now these 2 underutilized parking lots on Queens Avenue between Adelaide and Elizabeth Streets will get a new lease on life.
Now is not the right time to proceed with the redevelopment on this particular site. And as we said from the beginning, we're not saying not never, but we're just saying not now.
Council's Strategic Priorities and Policy Committee has voted unanimously to remove 2 lots from a list of possible sites for housing, at least for the time being.
I'm still interested when the future time comes that it is appropriate to look at development of these sites. I do believe it is a good area for investment and housing and new neighbors.
The mayor says there are better options for housing, including a pair of parking lots on Horton at Rideout.
I think this is the appropriate way to move forward, is to drop this lot and move on to lots where there's much greater potential, like the one at Rideout Street has huge potential with the possibility of a high-density residential building on that site.
Councillors also endorsed a staff recommendation for a free parking pilot project on the Queens Avenue lots, but not everyone was ready to pull the plug on pay and display.
No offense to you folks, but just being consistent with my votes that folks who are using parking should pay for it in the same way we're not offering free bus passes or bus tickets to people who are going to Old East Village.
The free parking pilot runs for a year and a half, wrapping up in the first quarter of 2027. Now, it doesn't apply at night. You'll still have to pay for parking between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. Final approval of the parking lot recommendations goes to Council October 14th. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Staff at City Hall have identified a location for a temporary shelter location in London. The proposed shelter site will be at the corner of Wilton Grove Street and Cheese Factory Road in southeast London. The property is owned by the city and is slated for industrial development in the future, but is currently growing corn. It sits adjacent to existing industrial properties. The micro-modular site will be home to 60 heated shelter units, along with a central trailer that will have washrooms, showers, and laundry facilities. Mayor Josh Morgan says the goal is to have the units in place by the end of the year. The proposal will be debated by the Community and Protective Services Committee tomorrow.
Ultimately, right now, what's happening is there are people who are sheltering on the streets in Old East Village, on Dundas Street, in the doorways of businesses, in municipal parks. We need another option. This is another option that Council will have to make a decision on. I think it's a good option because we're going to get 60 people out of those places where people don't want them, where they're not getting the proper care or services, and into a place where we can shelter them, give them a pathway to housing, give them some supports.
The manslaughter case looking into the death of a 16-year-old is now into its final stages, with closing arguments expected to be heard on Thursday. After the Crown wrapped up its case today, 20-year-old Trayton Hoffman did not testify in his own defense, and his lawyer did not call any evidence, meaning the case proceeds to the closing arguments. Hoffman has pled not guilty in connection with the stabbing death of 16-year-old Malik McDonald Mills. The teenager died in August of 2023 in the area of King Edward's Avenue in East London. The Crown's theory is that Hoffman was with a group of others and didn't stab the victim, but rather he was a party to the offense. 2 teenagers charged under the Youth Offenders Act also face charges in connection with the killing and have future court dates. It's a small space with potential to make a big difference. London Health Sciences Centre is changing the way women's health is treated in hospitals. CTV's Rita Ismail reports.
A new room at London Health Sciences Centre is offering both comfort and choice when it comes to women's health.
This is the first for us here in London, which we're very pleased to have as part of our opportunities for our patients to access.
The hospital's new women's minor procedure room is a first-of-its-kind space designed specifically for common gynecologic procedures like IUD insertions, biopsies, and exams, with one major difference.
What we do offer here for patients is intravenous, what we refer to as conscious or moderate to mild conscious sedation. So very similar to what a patient might receive during, say, a colonoscopy procedure in an outpatient scoping center. So patients have the opportunity to receive a small IV placed by one of our nurses, and then during their procedure they receive a combination of a pain medication as well as a medication that helps to calm and relax.
The setup is simple, just a physician, a nurse, and the tools to monitor patients safely. But the impact is big. By offering light sedation, patients stay awake but relaxed, helping reduce anxiety, manage pain, and avoid a trip to the operating room.
Unfortunately, women's health has not been overly studied. There's been a common misconception that things are deemed to be pain-free when in fact they're not. So this allows patients to receive the pain control that they require and that they deserve.
The approach also helps free up busy surgical suites, shifting appropriate procedures out of the OR and into a setting that's more efficient for both patients and hospital staff. Appointments are shorter, recovery is faster, and most women are in and out in under an hour. LHSC plans to expand what's offered in this new room with additional procedures. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
She lost both her parents before the age of 25, but a Clinton woman has taken her pain and lessons learned and turned them into a guidebook to help others dealing with the loss of a loved one. Scott Miller reports.
When Deidre Garretts was just finishing up high school, she lost her mother to a pulmonary embolism. She was absolutely heartbroken.
We told each other everything, and she was a parent to a lot of my friends as well. And it was different navigating life without her. She was the rock of my family with my dad.
Just as life was getting back on track, she lost her father to a heart attack in March of this year.
We were super close. I know it's very cliche to say that you're best friends with your parents, but it really was like that.
Amidst her grief, Garretts found the clarity to document all the intricate and sometimes confusing details surrounding a loved one's death that no one told her would fall in her lap. Things like probate and executors and estate organization.
It's overwhelming, especially if there's not many siblings or not many people that are going to be making those decisions. So when my dad passed away, it was all on me. I'm an only child. I didn't have anyone else to make the decisions with. It was lots of family friends helping me, but it realistically all fell on me.
All those unexpected decisions led Garretts to consider that she might not be alone in feeling overwhelmed. So she decided to write a book about her experience, titling it bluntly, My Parents Died, From Funeral Planning and Legal Paperwork to Emotional Grief and Healing.
I want it to be something that can be talked about more, because when it's talked about more, then people feel more comfortable supporting people through grief. Otherwise, it's almost like an elephant in the room that no one's talking about. I want it to be more comfortable sharing, talking, so people can be supported and that no one really feels alone during this process.
In Clinton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
London is preparing to play host to 1,000 Special Olympic athletes. A kickoff event for the 2026 School Championships was held in Dorchester today. It is the first time London will host the Ontario-wide event. CTV's Sean Irvin reports.
With high fives and cheers, participants in a qualifying event for the 2026 Special Olympics School Championships prepared to compete. These soccer players from multiple area schools are vying to take part in the Ontario-wide event. It will be held May 26th to 28th at Western Alumni Stadium.
It's our pinnacle event for high school age students across the province, individuals with and without intellectual disabilities competing on the same team under the Special Olympics Ontario banner.
There was a lot of energy amongst the participants. What makes this fun?
Soccer ball.
Does it make you laugh? Does it make you smile?
Yeah.
I see that smile. This makes you smile this day, doesn't it? Yeah, it's good to be around friends, isn't it?
Yeah.
The games will be sponsored by multiple local businesses. London Police will serve as organizers.
Athletes with and without intellectual disabilities will compete together, feeling safe, feeling supported, and feeling celebrated.
Okay, Ben, you're going in for call-in for a minute.
Past competitors serve as an inspiration.
Yes, I'd like to show you my medals. No, I got bronze in soccer, Brantford. And I got gold for basketball.
But as you've learned, the rewards stretch beyond medals. Student volunteers paired with participants on the field gain a new perspective while making friends.
It makes me really happy that they're happy.
It is the same statement from parents here cheering on their children. Phil Coughlin of St. Mary's has watched his daughter Talia participate for several years.
It's a huge sense of pride to see her out playing fun and being successful when she makes a pass or scores a goal.
Because after all, every participant likes to contribute, compete, and have a chance to win.
It's inclusivity and it's great for the kids. It really provides a boost to their self-esteem and self-confidence, a sense of belonging and in a team atmosphere, and they all have fun while they're doing it. It's great to see.
In Dorchester, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Coming up after the break, the leaders of the truckers' convoy are sentenced for their role in the occupation of downtown Ottawa. Plus, Alberta and British Columbia seem set for a showdown over a pipeline to the West Coast.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Two people behind the protests that overwhelmed Canada's capital 3 years ago have been given 18-month conditional sentences. Freedom Convoy leaders were convicted of mischief for their roles in the movement. CTV's Judy Trin takes a closer look at what went into the judge's decision.
Already convicted of mischief, Tamara Leach and Chris Barber, the two main leaders of the Freedom Convoy, arrived to hear their fate.
Lawrence, what do you think will happen today? What are you hoping for?
Hoping that Tamara doesn't go to jail.
A supporter was arrested before the judge even handed down her sentence. The trial has revealed schisms in society over vaccine mandates, but Justice Heather Perkins McVeigh said it did not factor into her decision. Politics has no place in this court and plays no role in the determination of what is a fair, just, and appropriate sentence, she said. For their role as organizers in the 3-week occupation of downtown Ottawa in 2022, both Barber and Leach were given conditional sentences of 18 months. It includes 1 year under house arrest and a curfew after that. Barber helped coordinate the movement of trucks. His lawyer says he won't appeal.
It was a lawful protest.
She found that it turned into unlawful because of the blockage of the streets.
The judge took into account more than $55 million in police costs and the lost revenue for businesses, as well as the disruption of community services. But the court also acknowledged that both Barber and Leach did try to limit the footprint of the convoy. Leach had already spent 49 days in jail.
There were many people in the downtown core and businesses that were affected by the Freedom Convoy. She doesn't deny that. The question of was there remorse for what she did? No.
Leach's lawyer says they're still considering appealing her mischief conviction. Meanwhile, both leaders of the Freedom Convoy are facing a civil lawsuit. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
A fight is brewing between BC Premier David Eby and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith over a new pipeline to Canada's west coast. As Rachel Aiello reports, Smith called Eby's comments un-Canadian.
Alberta's premier brought her push for a new pipeline to Parliament Hill today.
All it takes is the Prime Minister to say yes, and so I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get to that by mid-November.
Danielle Smith wants a bitumen pipeline from Alberta to British Columbia's west coast greenlit. But BC Premier David Eby has come out hard against the major project proposal, calling it a political creation that would put jobs and the coastline at risk. Today, Smith shot back.
I think Premier Eby's comments are un-Canadian and they're unconstitutional.
Eby then responded.
It's not the Danielle Smith show, it's the Canadian team. And we all deserve the same opportunity for the same federal funding for our projects as she does for hers. That's not un-Canadian.
Alberta's premier said that in her brief meeting with Carney yesterday, he committed to getting back to her by mid-next month about the pipeline and Alberta carbon capture project and whether the Liberals are ready to repeal certain environmental policies. Today, the Liberals touted their approach.
What we're seeing is a number of premiers, conservative premiers, very excited about our goals to make Canada an energy superpower.
While in the nation's capital, Premier Smith also met with federal conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and his caucus. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Julie Atchison joins me on the desk. Julie, it's a bit of a gloomier day out there, different than what we've seen the past few days.
That's for sure. This cold front brought some cloud cover and some beneficial rainfall for sure. We had a little Gulf moisture trying to push up from the south. Didn't see as much rainfall as many had hoped for, but definitely getting into some showers. We reached our high early in the day, and the temperature continuing to drop out there this evening. In the next hour or so, we'll be down to about 14 degrees, winds out of the north. So you can feel the change that's coming. This cold front bringing a fresh northerly flow to the Great Lakes. And of course, as the winds shift to the north, that will bring some cool fall air, the coolest air of the season arriving. As we take a look at the satellite radar tonight, you can see most of the rainfall now moving up towards the eastern seaboard as we head towards the Maritimes, breaking some records yesterday in Ontario and once again today on the east coast. That front will continue its slow trek off to the east-northeast, and in behind it, high pressure will start to build in. As we take a closer look at the Great Lakes, you can see the cloud shield associated with it starting to erode now as some dry air makes the move. Skies will clear out overnight and will go mainly clear as we head into tomorrow morning. Across the country, temperatures starting to come up a bit in Western Canada after a cool start to the week. It's 20 degrees in Calgary and temperatures still in the double digits. But you can see the cold front. Yesterday there was a really nice dividing line, but you can see it nicely tonight as well. So Thunder Bay is now down to 11 degrees and Toronto starting to see the temperature drop. Still have some rainfall towards Long Point, Haldimand, Norfolk, and the Niagara area over the next few hours. And then by about 10 o'clock, partly cloudy conditions and then mainly clear overnight. Lots of sunshine in the forecast for tomorrow. Another beautiful day. Now tomorrow you can head out the door with a light jacket on. You'll need it as temperatures will be in the single digits first thing in the morning. 6 degrees in Kitchener overnight, 8 degrees in London. If you are along the shoreline of Lake Huron, about 10, and near Lake Erie, 9 to 10 degrees. Forecast high Wednesday. Look at that, 12 degrees in Wyerton. So a far cry from our upper 20s over over the past couple of days. Wednesday afternoon will be a fresh one. 16 degrees in London, 15 in Sarnia, and if you're in through here on Perth County, 13 to 14 degrees. Lots of sunshine. It'll be hard pressed to find any cloud cover around tomorrow. The air that's moving in bone dry. Temperature 16 degrees as I mentioned, and the winds coming in out of the north. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast for Thursday and Friday, sunshine and just an absolutely beautiful forecast setting up heading into the weekend. But I just want you to take a quick peek at those overnight lows from about 2 to 4 degrees. So we could see a bit of patchy frost develop in the coming days. Now the forecast lows actually coming up a bit since the early morning forecast. We had some ones in there, so keeping an eye on that. But as we head toward the weekend, temperatures warming once again into the upper teens, 18 to 19 degrees, overnight lows from 8 to 10, and looking good for Thanksgiving Monday. Beautiful conditions. Midwestern Ontario soaking up the sunshine, but look at the overnight lows, 0 to +1. So there will be the risk for some patchy frost, especially in through northern areas of Huron and Perth County and southern parts of Grey and Bruce. Away from the water, of course, this time of year, the temperatures right near the lakeshore are on the milder side versus in through the interior of those counties. Mix of sun and cloud carrying us right through Thanksgiving weekend. Daytime highs coming into the upper teens and looking absolutely gorgeous for Holiday Monday. Lauren, that's a great forecast. Looking quite fall-like, so we're going to shift gears from summer to fall-like conditions, but some gorgeous weather to get us through the rest of the week. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Julie.
It's about 50% more than the 5-year average right now.
Coffee inflation, the rising cost of coffee beans hits the local coffee shop. Some new and negative numbers on trade for Canada showing we are selling less to the world and especially to the United States. Canada's merchandise trade deficit grew to $6.3 billion in August from $3.8 billion in July. That's mainly because total exports fell 3%, while exports to the U.S. fell even more at 3.4%. Coffee prices have been going up, and now one of Canada's go-to spots for a cup of joe is hiking its prices for the first time in 3 years. Here's CTV's Austin Lee.
For some, it's a frustrating move.
It's crazy why the prices are going up. I mean, you don't think we don't pay enough for everything? I mean, since it's going up in the supermarket as well.
Tim Hortons increasing its coffee prices by 1.5%, the first price hike from the coffee giant in 3 years.
Meh. I have a lot of things to worry about, and a couple cents on my coffee is not really one of them.
The increase comes after a turbulent few years for the coffee bean market. Tim's says the hike is more than reasonable, noting prices have more than doubled over 3 years. At the grocery store, coffee beans jumped by almost 28% in just 1 year.
It's about 50% more than the 5-year average right now, and we don't see how that price will drop anytime soon. So it was just a matter of time before we saw some chains announcing an increase.
Much of the coffee beans brought into Canada come from places like Brazil, where dry weather is impacting growing conditions. On top of that, tariffs aren't helping. Before much of Canada's coffee supply makes its way here from Brazil, it goes through the States, where it faces a 50% tariff. And even if an importer can avoid the U.S.,
tariffs will create this inflationary pressure that impacts every single trader around the world, because the United States is a huge market.
What cost us $26,000 in November of 2024, in February of 2025 cost us $40,000.
For locally owned shops like Little Victories, price swings have forced them to increase prices this year, but they have been able to circumvent most of Trump's tariffs.
We have the benefit of buying huge amounts of coffee, shipping them directly to Canada, missing the tariffs, and we negotiate directly with the producer in terms of the price that we pay.
Meantime, analysts expect other chains to follow in Tim Hortons' footsteps.
Tim Hortons is often the first. We are expecting other chains to follow suit.
Austin Lee, CTV News.
Like many other communities across the country, one store in Dartmouth has been struggling to deal with tariffs and rising costs. CTV's Vanessa Wright has more.
John Connors has owned his sneaker store, East Coast Kicks, for 7 years. Whether it was COVID, tariffs, or postal strikes, his business has weathered many storms, even a real one 2 years ago that left his Bedford location flooded for weeks. Still, he bounced back, opening up this store in Dartmouth in April 2024. But in a few months from now, he will be closing it down for good.
It was a pretty hard decision. I mean, I've been contemplating it for a while now.
He says the cost of living has made it hard for his customers to splurge on luxury shoes.
People are not picking that and picking other things to spend their money on, and I respect that. I know how everyone's feeling, and I understand it very well.
It's those factors that have forced him to take his store online only, a tough choice many storefronts are facing nationwide.
Well, we're seeing through the optimism of business owners that over the next 3 to 12 months, it's not as rosy as it could be. There's more pessimistic business owners as to the future as there are optimistic business owners.
Though many businesses try to cut costs, it's not always easy.
They're always trying to minimize transferring increased costs, whether it be on insurance, on electricity, on the products that they have to bring in. They're trying to minimize the impact on consumers.
For Connors, closing his physical store will do just that, keep his prices the same, and hopefully cut overhead costs.
So we'll still be out in the communities and popping up and bringing our shoes and bringing everything with us, and yeah, I'm sure people will still come and see me at those type of events, and we'll keep the same vibe going until maybe someday I open another one.
Putting his dream of having a storefront on hold just a little longer. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Dartmouth.
North American stocks finished lower today. In Toronto, the TSX lost 180 points, and in New York, the Dow fell 92, while the Nasdaq dropped 153. The Canadian dollar gained 0.02 of a cent, and on commodity markets, gold closed above $4,000 an ounce with a $28 gain, and oil dropped 4 cents a barrel. Coming up on the second anniversary of the Hamas attack, Israelis and Palestinians reflect.
5K a day is back on 97.5
Virgin Radio.
Listen to Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
Every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
CTV News has learned that at least $100 million of the province's Troubled Skills Development Fund went through lobbyists with ties to the Premier. As John Woodward reports, the province's opposition says that doesn't pass the smell test.
We're at FGF Brands.
This is one stop by Premier Doug Ford in 2023 as he showcased Ontario companies like bakery FGF Brands.
Let's give this a taste. Delicious.
Turns out that bakery got a lot of dough from the province's Skills Development Fund, at least $1 million to train its workers, according to provincial records. It hired a lobbying firm called Rubicon Strategy, which said in a filing with the province's lobbyist registry that it would assist FGF Brands Inc. with an application to the Ontario Skills Development Fund program to upskill and train FGF's diverse workforce. That's one example of firms choosing lobbyists to help get grants from the $2.5 billion fund. Funding decisions Ontario's Auditor General found were made by political staff, who often ignored nonpartisan recommendations.
If a consultant has supported an organization, we really want to understand who they are and whether or not there's any conflicts that could be happening there.
CTV News looked at the data. More than $100 million went through lobbyists, and the lion's share of that, at least $82 million, was through Rubicon Strategy. Rubicon is owned by Corey Tenike, who has run Doug Ford's election campaigns and didn't respond to questions from CTV News. Another lobbying firm, Atlas Strategic Advisors, represented clients including restaurant chain Scale Hospitality for at least $17 million in grants. Atlas's Amin Masoudi, who once worked in the Premier's office, said his firm simply helped clients through the process, adding attempting to connect client registrations to funding outcomes is an inaccurate way to measure what firms like ours do and risks misleading readers about the reality of how public policy and funding decisions are made. Labour Minister David Piccini said last week political staff knew best where fund money should be spent.
It's important, and it is changing lives, and it's changing lives for the better, which is why we've seen such incredible support for this program across Ontario.
$100 million going to companies that paid lobbyists that are connected to the Conservative government of Doug Ford. There's something wrong there. Something just doesn't smell right.
And a funding scheme she argues is half-baked. John Woodward, CTV News.
Chatham-Kent Council has learned the long-discussed community hub project is now expected to cost less than originally planned. A report to Council Monday night says the recommended bid for Fortis Construction Group of Tecumseh came in about $4 million under budget, just over $39 million total, including contingencies. Council is set to vote on whether to award the tender October 20th. If approved, construction at the former Sears building in downtown Chatham would begin this December, with completion expected in early 2028. The new hub will combine the Civic Center, library, and museum under one roof. A cash-strapped Marineland says without emergency funding by today, dozens of beluga whales could be euthanized. It's deadline day for an emergency funding request from Marineland in Niagara Falls, as the park struggles to care for 30 beluga whales. The federal government recently denied permits to export the whales to China. Marineland says without funding, euthanasia may be the only option. Fisheries Minister Joanne Thompson calls the request inappropriate, saying the park is responsible for the animals' care. A striking car crash was caught by dashcam on a Quebec highway. The video shows one car veer into the next lane on an expressway in Montreal, forcing the other vehicle to flip onto its hood and slide down the highway. There were no injuries and both drivers stayed on scene. No charges have been laid, but police are investigating. This is Mental Health Awareness Week, and for many seeking treatment, wait times for programs can be weeks or even months. One program, however, has been able to eliminate its backlog. CTV's Pauline Chan looks into it now.
Rebecca, who prefers to remain anonymous, has been a mental health client for some 3 decades, beginning with waiting several months for treatment of an eating disorder.
When I had to wait, I felt like no one cared. I felt like a number.
Now she's getting therapy for her mental health relating to a family member with addiction problems. But unlike her first experience, she was able to get next-day access to care thanks to a restructuring of the addictions program at William Osler Health. Megan Galbraith says before the pandemic, there were backlogs, especially with people awaiting one-on-one counseling. Their solution was to increase the number of group programs.
We actually have rolling admission groups now where you just start. It doesn't matter. People are in different weeks of the group and they learn from each other, which is great.
She says group therapy is successful and comfortable for many addictions clients, although those who prefer one-on-one treatment also have that option. But it frees up more time for the therapist to take single client appointments. They deal with addictions of all types, substances, gambling, online gaming, as well as concurrent conditions like depression or even psychosis. Dr. Ahmed Mansour says alcohol is the biggest addiction, followed by opioids, and they welcome both chronic as well as acute addiction patients.
Chronic, long-standing patients having addiction on the top of their underlying mental health, which is, we call it concurrent disorder, that go through the centralized intake. But for urgent patients, for example, people who visit the emergency room and they are willing to attend treatment at the withdrawal management center, they will have the service right away.
The programs here have been priceless for me. They have changed my life.
Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Tomorrow, a city committee will discuss the mayor's plan to install temporary micro-shelters in South London to assist the homeless, just as winter is about to arrive. That's tomorrow at 6.
Welcome back to KP's Rescue 975, brought to you by London's Airport Kia. Meet Nova, a 7-year-old American bully who's truly a survivor. She's arriving in style in a 2025 Kia Sportage. When Nova was rescued by Happy's Place, she was barely hanging on. But after 2 weeks in hospital and a whole lot of love, Nova's spirit shone through. Today, she's healthy, happy, and full of life. Gentle, friendly, and grateful for every moment, Nova is ready to find her forever home. Give Nova the love she's been waiting for. Visit happysplace.ca to meet her today. A bird's eye view of some gorgeous fall color. Thank you to Eduardo for sending this in. Cold front eases its way through, showers clearing out overnight, and sunshine in the forecast as we head through the rest of the week. Temperatures on the cooler side, and there's the risk for frost Wednesday night into Thursday. Your forecast for the holiday weekend is looking good with sunshine and temperatures in the upper teens.
It has been 2 years since the terror group Hamas set in motion the deadliest attack on Jewish people since the Holocaust. The families of those killed have vowed never to forget them. Heather Wright spoke to 2 families about how life has changed since that horrible day.
For many, there is a before October 7th, 2023, and an after. 731 days since life changed forever.
I couldn't do anything physically. I was broken.
Rayut Kadar grew up on a kibbutz in Israel and moved with her family to Canada 7 years ago.
Peace was a big part of my life growing up, and talking about peace and learning Arabic at school and talking about sharing future. And I don't know that that's something that will happen when I get to see it.
Her family has experienced anti-Semitism since the war in Gaza began. A swastika was drawn on her son's computer at school, and her family tries to avoid speaking Hebrew in public.
Why does people associate me with the Israeli government? All of my Israeli friends who live in Toronto, none of them support the government.
For Noura Sharab, each day begins preparing for the worst.
Every single day you wake up, you check your phone and check if your family's alive.
Sharab lives in Mississauga, but has aunts, uncles, and cousins in Gaza. Last week, she says 12 relatives were killed while waiting for food.
They were standing in line and they were attacked.
Leaders are meeting in Egypt this week, negotiating the terms of a possible ceasefire. Sharab says the plan put forward by U.S. President Donald Trump isn't perfect, but it's something.
The first thing that is at the top priority for anybody in Gaza right now is the stopping of the bombs that is raining down on them. The fact that they don't know when the next safe space is going to be.
As part of these ceasefire talks, Hamas has said it is willing to release all remaining hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. But there are other parts of the American plan that could be non-starters. Israel has said it will not end the war unless Hamas disarms, something the terror group may be unlikely to agree to. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Police in Quebec are on an urgent search to find out who left an infant on a doorstep. CTV's Kelly Gregg on a case of child abandonment that has even surprised veteran officers.
The baby boy left on this doorstep at a home on Bourgeois Street was born at just 34 weeks and still had his umbilical cord attached. Sunday at 11 p.m., a resident's doorbell rang, and when they answered the door, they discovered the infant.
The resident opened the door and saw the baby and contact rapidly the 911. The police officer and the paramedic transported the baby at the hospital rapidly, and they gave him some care. Fortunately, the baby is in good condition.
She adds in her 17 years on the job, she's never seen a case like this. Police don't yet know why the baby was left here. Monday morning, officers were going door to door, talking to neighbors and checking security camera footage in the area. But part of the house faces a park with no homes. Neighbors were shocked to find out what happened.
I'm a mother of 2 girls, she says. To leave a child like that, I'm sure you have to be in distress. I'm stunned. We have security cameras in the front of our house, but not behind, he says, and we wouldn't have a good view on what happened.
Police are still trying to find the baby's parents. Under the criminal code, if someone is found guilty of child abandonment, it can carry a sentence of 5 years in prison. Lawyer Valérie Assoulin has worked in child protection cases before.
DYP will try to find who is the mother. If there is a significant family for that child, and if not, right away he will be placed for stability. The law is not made to punish the parents, it's made to protect the child.
Police are asking anyone with information on this case to call 911, and they add the baby's health is being closely monitored. Kelly Gregg, CTV News.
In Stockholm, the second Nobel Prize of the week was announced today.
the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences has today decided to award the 2025 Nobel Prize in Physics to John Clark, University of California at Berkeley, USA, Michel Devoret, Yale University and University of California at Santa Barbara, USA, and John Martinez, University of California at Santa Barbara, USA, for the discovery of macroscopic quantum mechanical tunneling and energy quantization in an electric circuit.
They're being recognized for their research on subatomic quantum tunneling that advances the power of everyday digital communications and computing.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Blue Jay fans will be cheering the team on from afar as they go for a playoff series win against the Yankees in about an hour. CTV's Jessica Smith has been speaking with fans who are eager to wrap up the series tonight.
Jays fans are suited up and ready for Game 3 in the best-of-5 series.
Obviously caught up in the excitement just like everybody else, so looking for the sweep tonight.
Tonight, the Jays could advance to the American League Championship Series for the first time since 2016.
You gotta have the heart and the willpower, and you gotta work hard to climb the mountain, see the other side.
After taking games 1 and 2 with commanding leagues in a historic showing by rookie pitcher Trey Savage, tonight the Jays could sweep the series.
Savage is just an animal on that mound. Yeah. Incredible. This kid is great.
Some fans are already looking ahead to the World Series.
I think if we get past the Yankees, there's no stopping us.
While others are feeling those pre-game jitters.
Cautiously optimistic, hoping for the best.
But everyone is ready to rally behind Canada's team.
Let's go, Blue Jays!
Whoa. Go, Jays, go! 3-0. Jays are going to sweep. Goodbye, Yankees. Nice knowing you.
Jessica Smith, CTV News.
That's our time tonight. For your latest local updates, you can always head to our website. Our next newscast is at 11. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.